Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you're new to this channel, or you have not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live, but there's also a PayPal link in the info box below the video once it's rendered. Most importantly though, if you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by Chocolate Saiyan, Arwin and Sleeping Warrior. How are you all?
All is good, sir. All is good.
Good to have you all.
Good to be here.
Can I kick the conversation straight off?
Depends, are we going to do housekeeping or not?
Well, no, that's why I was saying, can I kick it straight off with something different? So I want to kick off with, it seems like the devout globe heads, the religious zealots that we deal with on a daily basis, have become accumulated curve deniers. So in their model, they have this accumulation of curvature. However, they want to isolate out the targets that we see into only the frame of reference that we see them at, ignoring the distance that they have been seen from and the accumulated drop that goes along with it. So we have some model deniers, people that either are too stupid to understand their model or are simply denying the awkward truth that the maths isn't stacking up.
Well, let me help, because if you can share my screen, Nath, I just want to show a picture. Because, you know, our picture speaks 1,000 words. Well, how many thousand words do we need on this one? So if I share my...
Pictures don't have lips.
Well, every picture's worth 1,000 words. That's the saying, right?
Oh, that's different. I'm just being pedantic. Okay. Sorry.
Are we on?
You're on.
This is a picture from Ranty's video, I believe. Now, it's... basically, the closest turbines are 20 miles, and the other ones are 22 miles, I think. Don't quote me on it. It's there or thereabouts. The principle is what we're looking at here. We're not looking at the maths. We're not looking at the metabunk. If the turbine is 20 miles away, and this one is 20.3, 20.6, 20.9, 20, and so on, this has to have an accumulated drop from the lens of the camera to the turbine. It has to be there. And you can't have a straight line, because straight lines are perspective. Perspective is a linear relationship. So with these, this is proof that this is perspective, because you can't have a straight line on a curved Earth. Because if Pontchartrain bends at 18 miles, then you've sure as out, you've got to have the Irish Sea bending in the same rate at 20 miles. So if Pontchartrain is curved at 18, we must be able to see that same level of curve at 20, because curve is cumulative. It doesn't just start where the turbine is, boys and girls. Curve starts where the lens of the camera is, or the observer, and it gradually gets worse and worse and worse and worse. And the more it curves, the bigger the gap. So when you get to that 20th and the 21st mile, 22nd mile, 23rd mile, the drop's the size of houses, not a couple of pixels, and we don't see it. So if you're struggling with this, the mere fact that there's a straight line between the turbines proves that the turbines are being affected by perspective in the exact same way that the lampposts were in the other picture. I'm not sure if I have the other picture on here. No, I don't. But if the lampposts are dropping the same linear effect on the photograph in a mile, and we're seeing another linear effect at 20 miles, but it should be bendy, you've got to have a curved line on a curved Earth. You can't have a straight line. And I don't know how else to describe it, but these lines here are straight because it's perspective that we're seeing in the picture. We are not seeing any curve. Do you agree, Nath?
Looming, looming, looming.
Well, no, it can't loom into a straight line perfectly at every distance, Arwin. So although they may want to claim some sort of refractive effects, we see this consistently. It consistently falls in line with perspective. You know, there's no two ways about it. Doesn't matter what day you go. You know, there's plenty of pictures of turbines that I can stick up that people have caught, and you know, you calculate out the distances for these and tell me that they're not forming a linear line, which they are. They will be, and there's not going to be any change in that. If you see some actual refractive effects, God, these words are tongue twisters. If you see some actual refractive effects, I'm sure that would distort the actual mathematics. But you'd have to actually show me some distorted effects on them, you know. And what we're seeing on Anthony's
picture... That's
just
the regular distortion in that one band, but it's all looming into a flat plane. Come on.
Sure, that's what they
What
would
do you
say.
mean? Curved is level, isn't it?
And can I just point out as well that for those of you that say that the bottoms are curving over the curve, that's the proof of curvature. Well, all right, if that is the proof of curvature, why is the top part straight? Because if the bottom is going over the curve, then the top must also go over the curve. So you can't have a bendy bottom half and a straight top half, right? So it can only be this little minuscule angle that we're looking at the horizon at 20 miles. This must be a refractive effect that you guys are interpreting as curve. But if it really was curved, the hubs would be doing it too. And because the hubs are linear, we know that that must be perspective. And we know that this must not be curve. It must be optical. By effect, it must be optical.
It all looms into straight lines and flat planes. And there's still the obstruction and some other local refraction in that band at the horizon, but the rest is all just looming into straight lines. Come on.
Yeah, because curve is level.
Yeah.
And
The
circles
Earth-
are made
the
of
Earth
and circles
is
are made
a
of straight lines.
360-degree ball of straight lines.
Yes, exactly. Baller logic.
But that's how it looks if you
Yeah.
must assume that it is a ball.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's only two ways you can go. Either it is flat or it is a ball and it's all looming up, everything uniformly, somehow unfolding into a flat plane. And that's just the way it is.
Hey,
And you have to choose. So either you can never see the curve or you must always see the curve. Can't be in between. So which one do you pick, Lovers? Which one is it?
It's either a ball or a ball that always looks flat.
Yeah, exactly. So you have to pick. You have to pick. Is your model of how it is actually supposed to be literal, visually, or is it not? And is it basically one giant looming illusion, bending it all into a visual flat plane? You must choose. You must. You can't have it both ways. Can't be sometimes looming and sometimes, yeah, there is curve. No, it's either always curved visually or it's always flat due to the looming. Which one is it going to be?
I guess it does whatever it wants, like gravity. Because gravity apparently does whatever it wants.
But gravity has nothing to do with optics, really. So
No, I know.
this
It's just
case.
another thing that does whatever it wants.
So what we
According
need to
to
do really at this point,
Whatever
we
we're
need
talking about.
what we need to do really is appeal to any of the bowlers that we know are watching because they all lurk. Who's going to come on and tell us how that straight line is actually curved? Because we need this explaining because we're stupid, right? We're flat earthers. We're stupid. I want to know what the
Looming.
explanation for it is. So anybody want to volunteer to come in and explain that this is a mirage or whatever?
Looming.
No,
Let me do it. Let me do it. I want to be the baller. I don't want to hear more repetitive droning. Brenda and all these other morons.
Anyone's
me
going to be
just play the
droning
blower
here.
for a
It's going to be
while.
Arwin. God damn you all.
Yeah.
Gassy Juice says, same crap pictures every show. Yeah. Same crappy pictures that don't show any curve.
Yep. What you got? Same crappy 3D model? It doesn't apply to real life?
So if says, why come on for you guys to shout and obfuscate? Well, we just want one simple question answering, and Sly couldn't answer it recently. Sly kicked me out of his own hangout because I asked him the question and he couldn't answer it. So in a hangout where I can't get kicked, let's see who can explain it. And perhaps the GCSE A-level science teacher can explain it. you want to come on and explain to us how it is that there's not an accumulated curve? Because we can't have straight lines at 20 miles away, sir. They've got to be bendy.
As we're talking to the chat, there's Midi HC in the chat, and he sent me a photograph of him in a very fetching Flat Earth Debate t-shirt. So big shout out to him. Thanks a million for supporting me. Also, subscribe to his channel, as he's making YouTube videos, musical YouTube videos no less. So yeah, he's in the chat right now. Click on his icon, go to channel, hit the subscribe button right now.
So perhaps somebody like Unorthodox can explain this.
No. Just leave it to
Hey
me.
Goldemo, how you doing?
Just leave it to me. Ask me as if I were Glober. I'll answer you.
We've got
I'll
Glover
answer
now.
you with yes and no question. Sorry, with yes and no, and not with other questions, not with obfuscations.
Hey,
Oh,
Milo.
excellent. We've
Hey,
been
Milo.
spared. Thank you, Milo.
What? Bird?
Sorry.
What? You don't want some
And-
real competition?
Wait, what was Arwen about to say?
Because Arwen, you can't fake that kind of stupidity.
Yeah,
That's
I
the
can.
problem.
Yeah, I
What was the
can.
question? What was the question?
I can and I want to because I don't want to hear this freaking drone anymore.
Wait. Maybe they haven't. Maybe they have a new argument today.
No,
right,
they
Milo?
never have a new argument. It's the same.
Nah.
crap for
Milo's
over months.
Milo's gonna
Yes.
surprise us.
Hi, was not was.
Watch.
Oh yeah.
Good
Someone's
talking.
watching TV.
Yeah, you gotta turn that off. Yeah.
So what was
maybe
the question
Milo's
that
got a. Yeah, maybe you got a new argument today.
What was the question that Arwen was given?
The question is, Nathan, if you wouldn't mind presenting my screen again.
Mhm.
So Milo.
Uh-huh.
Hey,
Hi,
Chris.
Chris.
Oh, hold up. Let me go to your screen. Uh-huh.
You see my
Chris, you
screen?
didn't get fired from your job, did
Yeah.
you? Because you got so much time now.
No, it's Sunday.
join?
Sunday.
It's Sunday.
Oh yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I probably won't join again until next weekend. So I'm trying to get all I can in right now.
All right. Cool. And this is your Flat Earth Debate vacation.
Right, you're
right.
up, Anthony.
Get it,
so-
Andy.
So, with regards to this image here,
Mhm.
first turbine is around 20 miles away. It might not be exactly 20, but it's not far off it, which would be
That's
this
fine.
one here. And then we have the other one here, which I believe is about 22 miles away. Doesn't really matter how far away it is. It doesn't have to be exact. The principle is that we should have an accumulated amount of curvature from the lens of the camera to the first turbine, and we can't see any turbines, so that's fine. But we should be able to see a gradual but prominent and gradually getting worse curve because of the amount of curve there should be at 22 miles. Now, if you guys claim that Pontchartrain at 18 miles bends the way it does, like a basketball, how can the turbines be straight?
Well, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Do you have an example of what you think it should look like if there was a curve?
This is a photograph, right? We're not giving you models of what it should look like curved, right? This is a photograph of reality, Milo. We're asking you, why doesn't it curve? Where's the curve is the question. Do you understand the question?
What am I comparing it to?
You're comparing it to reality. It's a photograph. Why doesn't the photograph have any curve, Milo?
What am I comparing it to, though?
You're not.
I'm
You're
gonna
just
show you.
looking at a
I'm gonna show you
photograph.
now.
You've asked 3 times. We're not comparing it to anything. If you want to compare it to something, feel free. However, we are saying there is no curve here. See? No curve.
Right, you're saying there should be a curve.
No,
so that
I'm
means
saying
that-
there is no curve. If you want to say there should be curve, you can say that if you want. Don't put words in my mouth. We are saying
Well,
there's no curve.
Anthony said that, not you.
Right. So
yeah. Okay. Listen. Let's go back real quick. Yeah, I'll speak for you, Anthony, in just a second. Okay?
No. Let me. I've got it. So
Okay.
this is a claim of curvature over 18 miles, and look at the amount of that curve. Right. This is a claim of 20 miles, and look at the amount of that not curve. You can't have a straight line at this distance if we live on a sphere. So
it's also
soundly
different
would be the claim of
And if it's
proof.
all looming,
Soundly is the claim of curve of what you're asking us to compare it to, because you guys tell us that that's the shape of the Earth, and we're showing you that 2 miles further, it's straight as a pancake, straight as an arrow.
So Anthony, it's a little confusing because Sly showed you this and he modeled it out for you on a flat and a globe Earth, and he showed you that
we'll get it wrong. Like
we'll get back to
through.
Sly. Sly's getting called out later. We'll come back to Sly. For the minute, we're going to drop Sly because he's a liar, and we're going to call him out on it. But if you want to really cite Sly, then be my guest. But you'll be cited in this what's the word? Deposition with regards to Sly, because he lied, and I can prove it. I've got somebody that will demonstrate what he did and show that he lied. So if you want to stick your name to that, you can do that, Milo. Do you want to support? Do you want to support Sly?
Yeah, but also what I want to say is that, so you guys are not straw manning me. My argument is that this is exactly what it would look like on a globe Earth. So
no,
yeah,
it would be
right.
curving. Hold
You're
on,
right.
Milo, right? If it's curved, it's curved.
No, Milo is right. This is what
it's
it
not,
does
Arwin.
look like on a globe Earth.
Yeah, he's
because
right.
it's all looming into a flat plane, including extra mirages from fractal looming that cause these type of distortions that make it appear like there is some kind of local curvature. But that's an illusion, because without that, it would look straight, but it is in reality a globe. So he's right.
So Milo, can you see how the top of his pylons appear to bend down and distort a little bit? The claim is that
looks like a straight line to me.
Hold on.
No, we're assured that this is a curve.
Hold on. You see a straight line. So let's just etch
Draw a
out with
diagonal line.
Hold on now, Anthony. Can you just put that picture back on? This isn't a straight line. What are you talking about?
From where to where?
See that roller coaster? It's not straight.
This bends.
Well, you have pylons coming from the beginning of your view to the end, so you don't have that with the wind turbines.
Yeah, we do.
You have them starting at 22 miles. So start at 22 miles at Pontchartrain, and then from that pylon draw a line down and see.
Look at the rate of curve, Milo. 18 miles of curve. This is what it's supposed to look like at 18 miles, Milo. But we're seeing at 20, you can put a straight line through the turbine hubs. Why is that?
Because it's not high.
Your name's not Milo, Arwin. Milo, what's the answer? Why can we put a straight line through the hubs?
Because this is what it would look like on a globe Earth. If you modeled this out with the dimensions.
Not an answer, Milo.
There are no straight lines on a globe, you moron.
Come on, man.
No, come on. There are no straight lines on a ball. This is what it looks like at 18, Milo.
Okay, hold up. I'm gonna share my screen real quick.
Yeah, come up with some answers as well.
Okay, hold up. Give me a second. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes. You're going to cite Sly, aren't you?
Sly's work.
No, we're not going to accept Sly, because ultimately you don't know whether he's done that right or not, and we know that he's done it wrong.
So why has he done it wrong?
Well, we're going to come back to that. We're going to show exactly what he's done wrong, and we're going to show them to be a lying fraud, and he should have no credibility whatsoever by the time we finish with it.
Hold on. While it's on screen, this is an observation of 10 to 14 miles, Milo.
Yeah.
So
that's another thing.
Hold on. I've got this. So Milo, this is how much curve you would see at 10 to 14 miles. Would you expect the ever-increasing curve that is beyond this point to be more or less curvy than this, given that it is a squared function and increasing with distance? Would you expect the turbines that are beyond this to be more or less curvy? Can we get a guest from the audience to join just to fill the panel up, because we're about to get trolled, because we're about to hold this guy's toes to the fire. So we're just getting trolled now.
Can I answer?
Yeah, go ahead.
I would expect this line to be curved by a pixel or two. So
sorry, not that line.
What's the value of
just
a
hold
pixel?
Hold on. Just listen to my question again. So would you expect, given that this is modelled at 14 miles and that the curvature increases over a greater distance, would you expect 20 miles to produce a more or less curvy result?
More, but by a pixel or two.
Excellent.
By a couple
Anthony, can you
pixels.
just put your picture back up again? Anthony, are you there?
Hi, Nathan.
Hi, Adam.
I am. I'm
Yeah, just pop your
doing what you
picture
asked.
back up of Ranty's. Okay, so what we just had modelled was how much curve you should expect at 14 miles, as demonstrated by Slice Barcane. If we were to accept that, and what Milo has just conceded, which is it should be more curvy given the exponentially further distance that we see, why isn't it?
Or you think it's not.
It isn't.
No, you think it's not.
Well, you're saying
You have
it
nothing
is?
to compare it to.
What do you mean?
You have
It's on
nothing to
screen.
compare it to.
We have just compared it. We've compared it to a model of this at 14 miles, and you've just said it should become more curvy at 20, which if it was on a ball, it would. So we have compared it, Milo. We've compared it to a model of it at 14, and this looks the same at 20. It doesn't look more curvy.
So what you're saying is that if we were to model the Earth with all its dimensions and put these turbines at the right distances, 22 miles, and we would see a curved line going through them. What you saying?
Well, it's on a curve, right?
So you would expect that, right?
I wouldn't expect it. I think the Earth is flat, and it seems to be in line with perspective. So regardless of distance, what's on screen now is falling away at the rate of perspective. There's no increased curvature, whereas the further you go over a ball, the more pronounced that curvature becomes. And it isn't. What you've shown us at 14 miles matches the linear nature of perspective and matches this at 22 miles. There is not an increased level of curvature at this greater distance, Milo. Why not?
Well, when someone models this, you'll see that this...
It's not a model, it's a photograph. You've just shown us a model at 14 miles and conceded that it should get more curvy at 20. Why isn't it? This is a real photograph.
Are you listening to me?
Yeah, you're saying if I model it, and I'm saying it's a real photograph, and it's further than you have modelled at 14 miles. Why isn't it more curvy? Are you saying that if you modelled it, it would stay the same? Because that makes no sense. It's more curvy further out.
No, it would look, if you modeled it, it would look just like this picture.
So you're saying it would look the same? Well, that makes no sense, Milo, because this is a further distance than the last model you showed, and this distance would have more curve applied because it's further out. It's a squared function. It increases with distance.
Okay, so you're saying that it would not match the model, and I'm saying that it would. So we would have to model it.
No, it wouldn't. We've already seen your model at 14 miles, and your model at 14 miles already matches this. But by virtue of it being a ball in your world, it would become more bally further out.
So what you're saying is that if we modeled it, the model would not look like this image.
Have you modelled it?
No.
Shut up then.
We're both.
Yeah.
This
Shut up.
It's a hypothesis.
Shut your mouth about your model you haven't done, dumbass. I'm sick of you saying it 5 times. Shut up. You haven't modelled it. Either go away and model it, or shut up about the hypothetical model that would show it the same. You haven't got that, so shut up.
Well, you have a conclusion without an experiment, so...
Hey, Milo. As we speak right now, this is being modelled. This is getting done on CAD by someone that can do it on CAD. That's not Slice Barcane. That basically said, "I want to do this. I want to help." So it's being done as we speak. Maybe by the end of the show, we may be able to present it. Probably not. We don't want to put them on too much pressure, but it's being done right now because these things should not be straight over 20 miles. They should be bendy because they're supposed to live on a sphere.
But Anthony, if we modeled it on the Earth, you're saying that it would not match this photo, right?
If we live on a sphere, no, it would not match this photo.
Okay, so that's a claim, and I would like to see the CAD drawing to see if it's true.
You can do it with the maths if you want. Hold on.
Okay,
you can do it with the maths. Do it with the maths. You can see in the mathematics that the amount of drop at this distance gets bigger to the degree of a house worth of difference.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, the maths already shows that it's wrong. So you want to model out the maths. You better match the maths, and the maths says it's wrong. So are you going to disagree? The maths says it's wrong, mate.
We can't know if we don't model it, Nathan.
It says right there.
We can know.
It says right there.
We can know without modelling it.
We can. This is based on the standard model of Earth, dipshit. This is what you use as your modelling tool. Now, if your models don't match this, then your models have got a problem. But this is your standard model. Here it is on screen right now.
Well, Anthony, on Sly's channel, you said that the line should curve at 13 miles, and it didn't. You could see a straight line going through all the.
That's right, and they should have curved, and they didn't. So why might that be?
Why wouldn't they be curved? Why wouldn't they be curved? We asked.
There's two possibilities for why it didn't do it on Sly's model, right? One is he hasn't done the model right, and two,
he did it in front of you.
Yeah, and it didn't move at all. I agree, it was dead straight, and I said, "But you shouldn't do that. I'll go away and I'll find out why." So I've gone away, I've found out why, and we're about to present it, and I'm going to rip him apart because the guy's a dishonest liar. He's done something intentionally wrong to make people like you think that the ball somehow can be flat.
Chris Monk lied too. What the hell?
I'm not talking about Chris Monk. I'm talking about Sly Sparkane.
Well, I'd like to see this presentation at some point.
Yeah, it might be ready by the end of this hangout today. We may do it. Might not be today, might be tomorrow, but it's coming.
You know what you should do? You should actually just go on a debate again with Sly.
Oh yeah, don't worry. That's going to be happening. We'll be calling Sly out the minute we get the opportunity to, and we should
do it now. Sly, if you're in the audience, come on right now.
Okay, so next, we can't conclude anything from this image. So
of course you
can. We can conclude there's no curvature there.
There's an accumulated curvature at 20 miles. You cannot have a straight line. What bit of that don't you understand? What's your malfunction?
Have you modeled it?
Doesn't matter.
On screen. It's a photograph. The model is on screen also. There it is mathematically. You can see it. What part of this aren't you getting, Milo? There should be more drop on the last one than on the first one because it's further around the ball. Simple.
Okay, so model it and compare it to the image.
It's on screen. You can see the mathematics. Yeah, you want to see it done for a dumbass drawn out in crayon?
So what he's saying is, without the model, he can't picture what it should look like on a sphere.
He's a dumbass.
You can't debunk it if you
learn maths, dumbass. Yeah, the maths is on screen. If you can't cope with the maths, then you're a dumbo. Yeah? Don't ask people to draw it out in crayon because those people can take advantage of you, like Sly.
Okay.
Sly by name, eh?
He did it live.
Yeah, well, he did do you understand the models that he used? Because I certainly didn't, but I spotted a few different things, mentioned it with someone else who was familiar with models, and what do you know, I was right. So, if you can't spot these things because you can't do maths, and you need someone to draw it out for you in crayon, Milo, that's fine. We can make assertions. There are no straight lines on a sphere. What we see falls perfectly in line with perspective. You go further out and still get a straight line, not an ever-increasing curve as would be necessitated by a sphere.
Okay.
Good. Glad you accept that.
Yeah, at least you can accept the point. Now, anybody else?
If it doesn't match, I'll concede.
Well, listen, what you're basically admitting to there is you can't picture what it should be like on a ball.
No, it's that you can't picture. So that's why you need to model it.
No, we can't photograph what it would look like on a ball because it's not a ball. What we photograph seems to come back looking ever so flat, Milo, with nothing but perspective, something you omit from the curve calculator. You omit all of these things we are discussing. Everything to do with every aspect of this picture, perspective, you ignore in your maths.
I just noticed something.
Don't just tell me what you've noticed. Acknowledge what I've just said. We're discussing perspective here, Milo. Your maths ignores that.
See this? I used this against Charles yesterday. The turbine is 20 miles away, roughly. And basically what you guys want to do is ignore all the curve that makes it across to the 20 miles, and you only want to go for the last 2 miles, right?
Exaggeration.
Well, there's a lot of curve between us and it should be exponential. So that last bit of 2 miles, sure, it might only be 12 inches or whatever it is.
It's not exponential.
But it's 12 inches on top of all the other curve.
Because IFTH, shout out to him, probably the best rebuttal because I used the incorrect word. It's not an exponential increase. It's a squared function. Yes, it gets more pronounced as you go further out, but it's not exponentially increasing. So shout out to IFTH, who was correct. I used the wrong word in my video this morning.
Who cares? It's not straight. That's the key word.
Yeah, correct. Okay. It's not linear.
Yeah, not linear.
So, Anthony, can you go back to your picture?
Well,
Milo, can I ask you a question?
First off, do you accept that this is the curvature of the Earth on this 16-mile observation?
Yeah.
So why would you reject that? Shouldn't they be the same at 20 miles?
Angle. It's a different angle.
Who cares? Angles doesn't make any difference. There should be a curve there, right?
It doesn't make a difference. And
why? There's no refractive effects going on in this picture that I can discern. Yeah? Zero. There's no strange effects at the horizon. Soundly's picture, riddled with it.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
guys all say Soundly's picture is curvature. So
No,
if you don't see that
it
anywhere
isn't.
else,
It's just bullshit.
why?
Oh,
I
they
don't
say.
understand why you guys think that it's curvature. I don't get
Let
it.
me just
Dark,
add to that.
what you guys have to understand is that if you have a straight piece of 2x4, you would not know it's straight until you look down the end of it. You understand that?
So what do you think that is then?
You're not looking down the end of it, so you can't tell if it's curved or
Oh,
not.
right. So you're going to dismiss this because it's not sat dead behind it?
Well, how can you tell the curve?
Well, he's not sat dead
Right,
behind
right.
that.
I'm sorry.
So why would you
we have
accept
to
that?
have very special circumstances to see the curve, and yet, what about this guy? You're going to reject this also, then? Take your time, Milo.
Even
You're
if
going to
it's
reject
not
this
at the
for the same
same
reasons,
angle as the
Milo.
other one, shouldn't it still be curved?
Chocolate, hold on. So, are you going to reject this for the same reasons, Milo?
No, this
Why
is
not?
at a good angle, so you can see the curve.
Oh, this is the good angle. You realise that your calculator doesn't take into account viewing angles and angular size, right?
Yeah, that's
So
the
what's the
difference,
good angle? What are you
that's
talking about? Why is
at.
there a good angle? I don't really understand, Milo. That's not something your calculator does.
Are you in construction, Nathan?
Pardon?
Are you in construction?
Sorry, why are you talking about the good angles when that's something that is omitted from your calculations?
How can you tell if a piece of wood is
You're asking me about a piece of wood now rather than answering my question, Milo. That's
so
cute.
Are you trying to say that you can't discern that because of this unfortunate angle that happens to make it look straight, you can't use your discernment to work out that it ain't going to change if you change your angle?
How much you want to bet it does?
Sorry, Milo, you have provided something so far that you bet wouldn't prove that things fall away with perspective, and then it proved that it did. So you're betting in terms of this kind of nonsense when these guys are getting photographs and you've provided us with nothing but garbage isn't probably the best bet for anybody in the audience. Don't bet on Milo, people.
I'm not betting on Milo. Correct.
What an excellent
I think
timing.
Gio wanted to say something. Can we let him talk real quick?
Yeah,
go ahead.
I'm gonna say I can add both math and clarity to what Milo was saying about the angle. The angle actually does have quite a bit of consequence, being that it adds a lot more length to where you'd see the curve.
That's excellent. It's a shame none of the calculations for the globe would take that into account. You ignore angles and you ignore angular size. So why are you telling us this? You're going to tell us all about it so you can tell us... Are you about to tell us how you don't apply any of this?
No. I was just going to say that when we're talking about this length of...
Sorry, are you going to tell us about how you don't apply this? Because you don't apply this. Why are you telling us this? In the globe world you think you live in, this is unapplied. You don't apply this information to your calculations. Why are you telling me about it?
It was you who was comparing the two pictures, and I think it was Milo who was clearing up the fact that that's the difference. Is one is using the length of those poles or whatever, and it's gonna be much longer length. Whereas the length of this, even though it's 20 miles out, it's probably 30 feet apart from each other. I'm just estimating, and there's 8 on that side, 8 on that side, so 240 feet. It's not even a mile.
They're a third of a mile apart. What the bloody hell are you talking about? You know nothing about this.
Yeah, so it's not even a mile. So
you said a few feet, right? You said about 30 feet apart, right? You're a blithering idiot. They're a third of a mile apart.
Third of a mile apart?
Each of those turbines are a third of a mile?
I don't know.
Are you deaf?
Yeah, I don't think that's true at all.
Are you deaf? Yeah? Are you deaf?
No, I can hear you.
Are the turbine blades a third of a mile long?
Apart. They're a third of a mile apart.
Right, but are the wind turbine blades a third of a mile long?
No.
Okay, so
what's
they
your
look
point?
like about the length of a wind turbine
guys,
blade.
where's the curve in these images? Where's the curvature?
Well, you can obviously see.
Let me just suggest something, and you can disagree with me if you want. We all know that perspective has a linear relationship, right? These like lampposts, they've got a linear relationship with each other because of something called perspective. Nobody denies that perspective is linear.
I'll just make a small correction to you, Anthony. Globeheads deny perspective entirely. It is completely and utterly omitted from their calculations.
It's curved slightly, Anthony, but you can't detect that curve with your
No,
eyes.
it's not. Look, let's go back to the curve calculator. Look how much you're supposed to have curved. At 20 miles, we have 160 feet of refracted hidden. But when we go to 21 miles, The next one's 20 feet difference. There should be 20 feet of difference between the two in just the 1 mile. Do we see that? No, we see a straight line. So what we're seeing with the straight line is only best described as perspective, because perspective is a straight line function of distance. So what we're not seeing is curve.
To you, what I would say is, if the model does not match this photo, I would concede. Like, what is so hard about that?
Just shown you it. What part of it didn't you understand? He went to the standard model. The calculations are based on the standard model. The perspective omitting proof of nothing begging the question calculator does not match. It shows there should be more drop on the last than the first, therefore curved. They're not though, are they?
There's more drop on the last than the first.
Right. So therefore you should see a curved line. Not yes. We are not dumbasses. We can do maths. We look at the maths and then can model it visually. We don't need it drawn out in crayon, Milo.
Okay, so you rather use beach balls, right?
No, we have looked at the maths. It's just been on screen. Yet my oversimplified model is not this. This is your proof of nothing, begging the question, perspective omitting model on screen now. It just requires a bit of maths, something you are clearly inept about and cannot do.
Well, Nathan,
yeah, but this math can be shown visually too.
It can be for dumbasses, yes. Other people can just visualize it based on the numbers that tell you it should be curved. Yes, it should be curved, Milo, but it's not. Can you see? Are you blind, or do you need it drawn out in crayon?
You said it should be curved.
Yes, the maths say it should be curved. Can you see the maths? Can you add up, retard?
Give me a degree.
Give you a degree. It's on screen. You work out that the one being further down than the first one is a curved line. Simple.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. I'm defeated. Yeah, it should be curving. Yeah, we've got a model in front of us. Yeah. Just need it drawn in crayon.
Well, Nathan, I was going to ask two things. One is if could
where's the curve? Don't ask me anything. Yeah?
Well,
tell me where the curve is.
Look up the
Don't ask me anything. Don't ask me anything. Tell me why there's not a curve in those turbines.
Tell you something. If I tell you something, then can I ask you something afterwards? I just want to know where those are. That's all.
No. Answer my question. Why is there no curve in those turbines?
Yeah, because you're not looking at something that's straight in front of you. It looks like it's at some kind of angle.
Everything's always going to be at some kind of angle. If you're on a sphere, you're looking down. No matter what you do, even if you have a level transit. So what's your point?
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is you're not looking directly down in a...
Did you not hear what I just said? In your model, you can only look down.
And...
I don't think he understands, Nathan.
Yeah, these people are idiots. They're literally either stupid or mentally challenged. You know, there can only be one of the two. Because if you can't do mental maths with it on screen...
No, you just don't understand what I'm saying, Nathan. Anything?
I don't understand that you're saying what? We're at the wrong angle to see curvature. If it's curved, it's curved.
I'm saying you're measuring the curve the wrong way.
We're not measuring anything. We're looking at it. It's visual. It's on screen. Use your eyeballs and look at it, right? And what you see is a straight line. You don't see curve. Why not? It's a simple question. Why don't we see any curvature? Why do you want to obfuscate this question?
I'll answer right now.
Go on then.
Because the curvature detectable by your eye is dependent on the angle that you're looking at.
On his way.
This is a camera. This is a photograph. You're looking at the production of a device called a zoom camera. This is not an eyeball that's measured this. Yeah, this is a photograph from a camera with a zoom function. The zoom is zooming in on the accumulated curve that should be there on these turbines.
Anthony, mute yourself.
Thanks, Bye-bye.
Anthony,
do you guys mind if I just finish? I can finish what I'm saying one time, and then you can go over ridicule me. But you base it off what I'm saying, though, Nathan. What I'm saying is these turbines, don't look like you're looking straight down through them. It looks like they're in front of you, lined up in a row in front of you. And so what you're not going to see is, even though it's 20 miles to 22 miles out in that direction, what you're not going to see is the curvature rate in between them. And I know you said they're a third of a mile apart from each other, but that's what I want to look up. And when I say where's this turbines, I want to look up the dimensions, maybe where this picture is taken, and see exactly what that angle is that you're viewing them from, because you're going to get a very different curvature rate depending on the angle. Of course, I mean, absolutely, of course, because that's going to be dependent on the, like I say, if it was straight in front of you, you're not going to be seeing it the same way you're going to be seeing in the ones in this picture here.
Sure, but there should be a curvature rate, just slightly different depending on the angle that you see it at, correct?
Well, if it's right in front of you, for instance,
sorry,
and like I said, the
not
distance you
give
say
me
is
anything.
a third of a
Don't give
mile.
me any conditions. If there's a curve, it just should be different at different angles, correct?
If it's the numbers that you said it is, a third of a mile, okay? So let's talk about third of 8 inches, which is what, like...
No, it's not a third of 8 inches. Yeah, we're not standing next to it looking at it at a third of a mile. We're looking at it at 20 miles.
Though. That's what the
Listen,
difference is.
shut up. We are not looking at... Shut up. We are listening. You're listening. We are looking at it from 20 miles. That's how you do the calculation. From the observer with the accumulated drop. Not a third of a mile. Is that clear?
That's not even the distance we're talking about.
Just a yes or no. Is it clear that we are not working out the drop based on us standing next to it at a third of a mile? We are working it out at 20 miles, which is what we are observing it from, including all the curve between us and it.
Can I suggest something, Nathan?
Is it a yes or a no? Do you understand that we are not calculating for a third of a mile like we're standing next to it? We are calculating for the 20-mile observation and all of the curve between us and the target.
Absolutely,
yes
Nathan.
Or no?
Can I please finish what I'm saying, and then you get to understand what I'm saying.
I do understand what you're saying. You're saying you want to measure it from a third of a mile. I'm saying no. It's not a third of a mile observation, and the curve between them at a third of a mile is irrelevant because you have the build-up of curvature between you and the target because it's 20 miles. Do you understand? Yes or no?
I understand what you're saying, Nathan, but...
Excellent. So don't do any calculations for a third of a mile. Only do the calculations for the accumulated drop based on a 20-mile observation and the difference between the turbines based on their actual viewed distance.
Yeah, Nathan, please listen this time.
Don't plead with me. Just say, I understand. We are not looking at them at a third of a mile. We are looking at them at 20 miles, and there is an accumulation of curve between us and them. Say, I understand, Nathan.
Nathan, if you don't let me speak, this is very disingenuous. I'm not even getting a chance to say my point, okay?
Just gave you about 10 seconds for you to tell me that I'm not giving you a chance to speak. I am demanding that you acknowledge and accept what I have said. We are not calculating the third of a mile between them. We are calculating the 20 miles of accumulated curve between the observer and the target in its entirety.
Nathan.
Yes, you keep saying my name. Just say yes, Nathan. I understand that there is an accumulation of curve between us and the target. It must also be accounted for.
Yeah, and you're talking about the difference in the turbines from one another, right?
Yes, I know you're talking about the difference between them, which would only be a third of a mile. I am saying no. The difference is not the difference between them at a third of a mile. It is the difference between them at 20 and then 20.3. Because there is accumulation of curve between us and it.
And where are you expecting to see this curve, Nathan? That's why I'm trying to describe why you...
We don't see it. It shows in the mathematics that we should see it. There's a big difference between the first and last at 20 miles. We just don't see it. Back to my original question now. We've obfuscated it. Why don't we see any curve?
Can I tell you why?
That's what I was trying to tell you, Nathan, but you wouldn't let me finish telling you. I'm saying why you wouldn't see it. You're looking for it in the wrong place.
Sorry, it's a curve. It will remain curved regardless of where we see it from. If it's curved,
no, Nathan,
it's curved.
Let me explain something to you, Nathan.
Shut up.
The curvature...
Shut up.
Well, I'm going to answer your question.
Shut up, Milo. If it's curved, it's curved. It doesn't matter what angle I view a football from, it's curving.
It's not curved like a football, though.
Milo,
It's
one
curved
more
like a
time and I'll
football
kick you out. Goldemo, if it's curved, regardless of the angle we view it from, it will still be curved.
That's correct, but you...
So why isn't it? This is the original question you have obfuscated for about 10 minutes. It should be curved. It isn't curved. Why not?
I'm explaining it to you, Nathan.
No, you keep saying we're looking at it from the wrong angle. I've just tied you down. It doesn't matter what angle. If it's curved, it's curved. So don't tell me I'm looking at it from the wrong angle. Why isn't it curving?
Because they're a third of a mile apart.
No, they're not a third of a mile apart. They are 20.3, then 20.6. That's not a third of a mile. You really want to tie them down to a very short distance because of how crap your maths fails at this distance. You're not going to. It's not ever going to be a third of a mile that you're calculating because you're not stood next to them.
And so you're talking about just the second row compared to the first one?
No, I'm talking about a 20-mile observation and all of that juicy curve that we don't see between us and it, mate. You understand?
Yeah. See.
Good, because there's no curve there. There's no build-up of curve. All we see is perspective, something which your proof of nothing begging the question calculator that omits perspective doesn't include.
Is this how you usually have these conversations, Nathan, where you don't let me talk for 5 seconds and don't even let me get my point across? I'm trying to say something, and I'm trying to explain to you why you won't see a curve there.
That was 15 seconds of you telling me that you're trying to explain something without giving me a single explanation for why there should be curve. Doesn't matter what angle we see it from, you've conceded that. But there is no curve. Why is that? You still haven't given me an answer. It's the first question I asked you. Is this how you deal with people? They ask you a direct question and you obfuscate it for 10 minutes. Is that how you deal with people? No, because you won't let me talk. You cut me off every time.
Talk?
Is that how you deal with people?
Nathan, let's stop wasting time. Let's get into the conversation, okay? So you're talking about the straight line on the that you're seeing in these things. You're expecting that to be curved. I'm telling you why it won't be curved. Okay, it doesn't matter how much further behind the 20 miles it was. It's still the same distance apart from one another, and because they appear to be not really in a straight, they're more or less in a straight line in front of you. So you're still viewing these three a third of a mile apart.
No, you're not. You're viewing them from 20 miles. I keep telling you that.
Yeah, I understand the difference between the two rows. I'm talking about the difference between each of these in reference to one another. And
yes, I know that. You want to reference them to one another at a third of a mile. We're not looking at them a third of a mile away. There's a accumulation of curve between us and them.
Yeah, and aren't you expecting to see a curved line instead of a straight one? Is that what you're saying?
Not expecting nothing.
That's what we're saying. We're saying the curve calculator says there should be a curved line there. There isn't.
And
why not?
What would that curved line look like?
I don't know. I live on a flat plane. It's very difficult to make a flat world look curved when it isn't.
Yeah,
so
those lines.
Even know. It would look like a straight line.
No, the mathematics are on screen for you, Milo. You dumbass. It shouldn't be a straight line.
Yeah.
Are you stupid? Can you not add up? Can you not see simple numbers, Milo?
I can't even see the screen right now.
All right. Well, we had it up for you earlier, and we pointed out that the math says otherwise. Are you stupid? Can you not do maths? Can you not see numbers? Are you numerically dyslexic, Milo? Yeah, we explained this to you. You'd have to visualize it based on the numbers. Is that too difficult?
Yeah, it would not be a curve. It would look like a curve. It would look like a straight line, but it would be curved.
It would look like a straight line, but be curved. That's very interesting to state that, Milo. I might snip that little bit out. Very interesting statement. It would look straight, but be curved. I see. That's interesting. Oh, trolling time. Again, I have to appeal to a few members of the audience to join us, fill up a few of the gaps while we get trolled to all hell, as Milo says such stupid things as, it would be curved, but look straight. Yeah, the maths say it would be curved, but it does look straight. That's our problem, Milo. We don't really understand why it's looking so straight when it should be curved. Yeah? You want to explain that to us, or we're just going to spend 40 minutes obfuscating this indefinitely while you guys tell us that it shouldn't look curved, even though it should look curved if we live on a sphere because there's a big fat curve between us and it. I don't mind. You can do this all day. Tell me that we should measure it at a third of a mile when it's 20 miles away, and I'll just say no. If the world's a sphere, it's a sphere between me and it, and there's an accumulation of curve between us and it that you're now trying to ignore by calculating out how far they are apart only, the difference between them. Why would you want to do that when we're looking at it from 20 miles, I ask myself.
Because
and it's
we're being
because we
clever, and
don't see an accumulation of curve, do we? We only see linear perspective, as we'd expect.
Did you hear what I
and
said?
you ignore in your maths.
Did you hear what I say, Nathan?
We're being trolled. So we've got a full panel now, so hopefully we won't be trolled.
Did you hear what I said, though?
Obviously not. Did you not listen to what I just said?
Yeah, you talked for a long time.
Yeah, well, we were being
But you
trolled.
didn't address what I said.
We were being trolled.
So
That's fine.
it's the current position that you guys refuse to accept this evidence on the basis
No,
that the angle is not behind. It's not behind the turbines enough.
You refuse to listen to the explanation, which I address exactly what you're saying and why you don't see a curved line.
So
Because we're kind of at the wrong angle. We need to be a bit more less in line with it because it's almost just about in front of it. That was his excuse. Because we're almost just about
No, that's not his excuse.
Yeah, I'm
I
telling.
listened to his excuse. He said we're almost straight on with it. And because it's not quite almost straight on, we're just too much straight on. We're at the wrong angle. That's
Why
crap.
don't you give me a chance to
Nathan,
let your
why
audience
gotta-
know?
I did. I shut up and listened to your explanation. Right? It was garbage.
Do I gotta teach
Nathan.
you what a straw man is again?
Ugh.
you know, hang on. Do you know what would happen if we were to do it more straight for you? Do you know what would happen? You would argue.
Yes, I
that
know
the
exactly what
turbine
would happen.
fit-
That's what I'm trying to describe.
Can you not interrupt him, please? He was trying to talk, and you're interrupting him very rudely. Is this how you deal with people? Can you not interrupt Anthony when he's talking, please? That's incredibly rude. Yeah? So shut your mouth and listen to what he's got to say.
If we were to put it more straight, you would argue that the fins or the blades of the turbines are obstructing the view too much, and you couldn't work out where the hubs were. So we're damned if we do and damned if we don't.
See, I'm talking about the other direction, which is like I let you speak, and I really appreciate the respect if you'd let me finish speaking, because then I'd give you an answer. I'm not talking about that direction. I'm talking them lined up in front of you so that you could see all of them clearly in the distance in front of you. That would be more straight. And now it looks like it's at some kind of angle. And so what I'm going to do for you right now is give you the numbers of what it would look like if it was right in front of you, which would be the difference in angle would be about 2.66 inches between each of those turbines.
No, sorry, I keep saying this. You just keep doing it. Yeah, the distance between them is irrelevant. There is a build-up of curve between us and them. Stop trying to do the mathematics just between the turbines.
Yeah, I just described
Even
that.
if we were to accept your point on the right-hand side, you can tell by the gaps in between the turbines on the ones on the left-hand side, they are nearer, so therefore the angle must be reducing. So we're getting more behind them on the left. So I don't see the problem. But again, I make my point. If we did get behind them, the argument would then be that we couldn't see the hubs because the fins would be in the way. So you can't have it both ways.
Anthony, tell me why those lines are parallel and why they can't.
Because we live on a flat plane.
Because we only see perspective. They're falling in line with a linear demonstration of perspective based on their distances, and it's a straight line, not curved as the calculator would suggest.
See, this
what part of perspective says the bottoms of things disappear? What part of perspective
Goldemo
says
something. Goldemo.
Am I
So are you saying
on the
that
panel?
because we're at the wrong angle, the maths that says how far and how much curve we should see, are you saying that that's wrong because we've got it at
I'm
the
not
wrong
saying
angle?
you're at the wrong
No.
angle. I'm saying at this angle. I'm saying at this.
I've said this already. The calculator ignores viewing angle and angular size. So it ignores perspective and all the things that go along with it. So there is no account for this in the calculator. The calculator just takes into account how far away they are and the viewer height. That's it. So based on the viewing calculator, there is no angle to change in there. There's nothing that would change in the calculator if we got straight on with it. So are you saying the calculator's wrong?
I think that maybe you're not
Milo,
very good
if
at
you
doing
interrupt
this
again, I'm not
calculation,
talking to
Nathan,
you.
and that you're not listening to my explanation for it. And so
I did. And the calculator on screen that tells us how much curve we should see and don't doesn't have a viewing angle function.
That's not what I'm talking about, Nathan.
We are talking about your model. It is presented on a calculator. The numbers when you give it for this observation say it should curve and it doesn't. You're saying we should change the viewing angle. Nothing would
You're
change.
understanding it
Nothing
incorrect.
would
That's
change.
nobody
Why are you
else's
talking
fault.
over me? Nothing would change in the calculation based on our viewing angle. Nothing.
And no
it's
one said it
not
should.
accounting for viewing angles.
Who's saying that we should account for viewing angles?
This
Nathan,
other dick that you keep talking over, Milo, so you're going to have to kick you out. You don't even know who you're interrupting. You're interrupting another Glober who's trying to make a crap point about a viewing angle we don't see and don't calculate for in his begging the question, proof of nothing, perspective omitting curve calculator. So, why don't we see any curvature? Oh, more trolling. Of course, these guys get demolished. They start talking over each other and we get trolled to all hell. What an absolute shock. These guys are getting obliterated. You're taking a proper pummeling. That's not going to be Ruhif, not at this time of night. Let's kick you out before you troll everybody. Yeah, we could do with a few more members of the audience again before we round out for a little break. There will be a second show with a pummeling of that troll. Too slow. Maybe this is my opportunity to round out for a little bit of a break. Typically, I've had a camera error at the most inopportune moment, so I'll just round out with the Hangout screen on and then hopefully reset my OBS and things. So with that, I will say first and foremost a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the live audience for tuning in and hopefully sharing this live debate. And of course, a massive thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible. If you hated the show, you know exactly what to do, but if you like the show, maybe consider sharing it with a friend or subscribing if you have not done so already. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!